Problem is, for me and so many people, they don't really ask questions. They just kind of take what it is for a grain of salt, and that's the truth. 90% of people, more, have never made a budget. The simplest thing. That was the first, yeah, right. Own a business, part-time or full-time, and then the money you get extra, start investing. That formula right there. Anybody can start creating wealth for themselves. Big pharma and the FT, they didn't actually allow Enagic into the US for many years
Oh,
because
really?
they knew what the product would do to the whole system. Every home just added a Kangen as part of the norm for a kitchen, you would have a completely different planet in, I would say, in a month.
Chris O'Brien is a coach, mentor, community leader, and CEO of Come Out Better. He has worked with thousands of people, helping them to earn over 6 figures in their business and educating the masses about health, wealth, and crypto.
We are going back to gold. There's about 50 to 100 miles or more of tunnels under the Vatican. Yeah, all the truth is, and all the gold is, they took all the gold. And so the technology of crypto is going to take gold that's in vaults and then tokenize it, and then it'll represent itself on a blockchain as a digital asset.
One of the things that I really love about your work is the truth sharing that you do, whether it's to do with health or whether it's to do with money, with crypto, with what's going on in the world. I find this whole concept behind truth seeking very, very, very important. And I feel like this is something that a lot of us should be aiming to do, because this is the ultimate empowerment, self-empowerment, is if we find out what the truth is behind what's actually happening. And as we all know now, there's so much going on that we don't know about, and that we're being kind of deceived about and told certain things that might not be necessarily true. So I find this very, very interesting. And I kind of want to start this off with this concept. What is it about this seeking of truth that really compels you? What's so important to you about learning what's actually happening?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a very good question. As far as the truth goes, it's just, I think it's human nature too. There's this innate nature of truth that follows. I like to look at it as truth follows like curiosity, intuition, curiosity, like a child. Like, oh, what is that? Can I touch it? Nope, that's hot. Now, the truth is the pan is going to be hot if you get too close. So like the precursor is always, I feel like, our imagination, our curiosity, our imagination, our intuition. And the problem is, for me and so many people, right, in the world, they've lost that connection. So a lot of people aren't curious anymore. They don't really ask questions. They just kind of take what it is for a grain of salt. And that's the truth. Someone told me this is how I'm supposed to live. This is what I'm supposed to do. And that's what I'm going to do. And if we live that way, where we're always living by the programs and the dogmas and the agendas and narratives and stereotypes and stories outside of us, the truth will be skewed. It's like, and then I always think the truth gets so close to it. There's like 99% you could tell the truth, but 1% can still be that lie and still can misdirect you, and then you'll have people that'll argue with this and say, well, what your truth is, I have my truth. Like, this is what I see to be true. So at the end of the day, what is it? What is the 100% non-negotiable fact of the matter? But to be honest, maybe we don't even ever get there fully. And I think that's what allows the human evolution, right? Or consciousness, and bridging the realms into these next waves of awakening. Because once we get it all, how do we keep evolving? You know what I mean? How do we keep growing? So for the truth itself, it was curious and fascinating to me. I had a spiritual awakening. I started getting voices in my head, like almost as if God was speaking to me. I had no clue. It wasn't my voice. It wasn't someone else's. It was almost just a knowing, like I was just reading a teleprompter. And that kind of took me down the rabbit holes, took me down the wormholes. And then I started realizing, there's so many layers that you can perceive reality. And I feel like the human collective really only focuses on the five senses: what you can touch, feel, taste, smell, see, read. That's tangible. Therefore, it must be real. It's like we don't believe until we see it. And a lot of people live in that type of dimension. So the truth for them has to be something right in front of them that they can actually experience. Where what I discovered is the truth is beyond the physical realm, right? It's beyond the physical senses. And it is that inner knowing, your intuition, your right brain, your nervous system, being able to just, quiet the mind. The fact that we dream, I think people take dreaming for granted, that you can literally go to another dimension by closing your eyes for 8 hours, and we call it sleep. So there's many things that the truth peels back. But to summarize it all, yeah, definitely I see it being the post outcome of curiosity, intuition, you know, just just open to receiving, open to learning, and then that's going to pull those layers back. And as you know too, as you do that, the shadow work comes up. All of a sudden, the those parts of it come up, which is a whole nother different topic. But yeah, the truth is an interesting word. I'm glad you started with that and brought it up because there's so many perspectives, right, and ways to look at it.
Yeah, completely. Wow, I love that answer. And you're so right. I think it always boils down to your inner knowing and your intuition. And it's funny when I speak to people about this and we kind of go into a little bit of the spiritual arena and they're like, oh, I don't really believe in this. And then you're like, and then when you start talking about coincidences and stuff like that, and they're like, actually, there was this time that, I had this knowing or I had this voice in my head that told me to do this and it turned out to be true. So it's funny how people don't even realize it themselves how much they actually follow their own inner knowing sometimes, but they don't, we just think it's imagination and something like that. So I think it's really important with what you said to basically to really have that awareness and to follow it as well. And that's gonna lead you to the right path ultimately.
Absolutely. And then it just keeps going too. It doesn't stop. And that's the part you have to almost like condition yourself and train and pace yourself because so many doors open when
Mm,
you open that first door. It's kind of
yeah.
like a domino effect. So I joke around too. I'm like an awakening coach. I call myself a truth coach because when you wake up, most people don't know how to navigate it. They get really stressed out. They start overthinking. Like you can get the black pill where you're worried about everything, the end of the world. Just because you see everything, you also see the good and the bad. And I think that's the scary part that I want to make sure I can keep helping people navigate through it. And even just me saying it right now again confirms more and more that I think that's the direction I want to keep going in to help people come out better.
No, completely. Tell me a little bit more about come out better, and how did that come out? What was the yeah? How did that spark?
Well, it's the old parable of like the hero's journey, death and rebirth, the crash and burn and rise. That's why I have the phoenix as like a symbol that I really like to emulate and stand by. And come out better. Actually, it was the term came from my initials. So my whole life I was named called Cobb, COB. Yeah, when people say Cobb, corn on the cob, I don't want to be corn. And then people say Cobb salad, I don't want to be a salad. So I don't want it to be two food groups. That's literally when you think of Cobb, right? You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, what can I do with this? What can I? And I was just driving one day. I forget what the day was, but I remember vividly turning a corner. I was in my dad's Jeep. I was driving at the time, and I was just having a dialogue, talking out loud to God, and just saying, okay, come out better. What are some ideas here? I like to ask questions. That's how I pray. Ask questions, you'll get answers. Um, and then it hit me, and I was like, come out come out balling because I was a basketball player, come out balling. And I was like, no, come out better. And that as soon as I said it the first time, as soon as those first words were said, like just it's like a whole, I don't know, something just turned on in me. You know what I mean? So I stuck with it, come out better. And I'm like, okay, that can mean so many things, in for example, you had a health scare like I did in 2016, broken down, gut health issues, allergies, eczema, acid reflux, all that, right? Broken down like a phoenix, collapse, crash, some diagnosis, meds for life. And then I found water, obviously a specific type of water, started rejuvenating, started detoxing, regenerating, and then the phoenix rises. And then I'm like, okay, so this come out better is anything tough in life, bad, negative, a setback, a challenge, a loss, whatever it is we go through, right? When we say we're going through it, the blanket term to cover it all, those things, eventually we're going to come out of it, right? Whether it passes, it gets integrated, or some people push it to the side and push it down and avoid it. Eventually it's going to come out. You're going to move through it. It's going to move through you and vice versa. And you'll be better. You're just going to be better. You'll be smarter. You'll have more wisdom. You'll have great reflection of what works and what doesn't. You'll learn about yourself. I can go on and on about all the things that get better when you embrace that process like a phoenix goes through. And I feel a lot of people go through that. I feel a lot of people experience that, yet they associate it with either shame or, the fear of being seen, sharing how they improve their life, because of all the things that come after it. So that's what come out better is. That's where it started. That's the concept of it. And I guess the last piece of it with the truth, I'm sure you've seen my content about the brain, the left and the right brain. That's what I was kind of messaging you earlier with some of the things I shared with you. Is most of the world operates a majority. So most of the world, I'll say all, I always stay away from 100 absolutes. So most 99.9% of the world, most of the day are going to be using their left brain only. And that's a problem. And you see the world's all designed by it. Everything is right-handed. People are right-handed writers. The gas pedal's on the right side. We tend to right hand with our cooking. Like everything we use, hold our phone. How often do we use that other side of our body? And that's a clear example of the disconnect there. So coming out better is coming out of the left brain and getting more into the right brain. And that's probably going to create more good things to happen for you. And life will be better. So that's the other part of come out better, and many other things too as they evolve. But that's where it stemmed from. Yeah, it's been a
Mm.
crazy journey for sure.
Oh wow, I love that. Yeah, it's kind of the alchemist transformation from lead into gold, and yeah, it's definitely relate to that. And I think a lot of people can as well, with having gone through dark nights of the soul, coming out on the other end, learning so much stuff, reflecting, and then seeing, okay, what has this taught me, and what can I improve now in my life? Yeah, it's
Mhm.
a big journey.
And that's come out better. Like literally, and you'll
Mhm.
literally see it so many times in your life now. And I tell people, say it, share it. It's not a brand, like it's not like I own the trademark of the words. I just see it happen so much, and I think this concept and this embodiment is definitely something I want to get a little bit more like louder about. Yeah, so
Mhm.
exactly what you said, spot on with the
Yeah.
alchemist. I like that.
So you definitely started with the health side first. Um, Tell me about the transition into the money side and sort of the business side, and then later in crypto. What was your biggest aha moment? Because I know you, like a lot of people out there, you started in a 9 to 5 job when you were in your early 20s, doing marketing. Tell me a bit about that in the process of coming through to the other end, seeing, okay, there's something going on here that doesn't add up.
Well, we're going to come out wealthier now. So we came out better. Now we're going to come out wealthier.
Mm.
Well, before that, I think wealth always, I believe, starts with the mindset. I believe there's a certain set of programs, certain set of beliefs, just like the truth, right? Everything is like very correlated. You can do it with health, with money, with truth, with self development. So you have all these beliefs and programs about money, not enough of it, plenty of it, inherited, paycheck to paycheck, your dad barely getting by, mom stay at home. Everyone comes from different upbringings. So that was the first thing I had to realize was what was my belief systems, my programs about money that I always had that I received for many years of my life. So that was like the first part. And then I started to experience things. I started to make some money with doing other jobs. I was like a serial entrepreneur, which at the beginning of your entrepreneurial journey, you're serial failure. Like you just mess up a lot. Like that didn't work. That's not my jam. That doesn't align. Oh, I lost a lot of money there. Bad deal there. And I experienced all those things. And that's when I was experiencing those failures, I realized it was because I was looking to create and build something based on those programs that I never addressed. You know what I mean? So not enough. No one has money. No one's going to buy this. Like just always talking myself out of the what isn't instead of the what is. Like the possibility, everyone's going to love this. Like my money works for me. Like affirmations we talk about. So I was outdated programs led to complete systematic failures one by one. And then that was a wake up call. And then the first thing I did, and I recommend this to everybody, I would say if I had to guess, and you could fact check it for me if you want to, is I would say 90% of people, more, have never made a budget. The simplest thing. That was the first. Yeah, right. God bless you. It's all good. It's
Only
okay.
until
I
recently, yeah.
know it's like indirectly poking her on her own show. Like it's okay though, but it's the simplest little thing. And maybe you do it today. Maybe this is your sign to do it, to really get serious about this. Because I so many times people skip these foundational steps of their mindset, their perspectives, their beliefs, their patterns and habits, and then look at their actions. Yet most people just don't know what comes in and what goes out every day, every week, every month, every year. 99% of people, the 1% that do are the business owners, right? They're the successful ones. They run the companies. And most people that are, in a corporate job or an employee or, doing these things with their money, because it's so habitually give me a paycheck, right? Just get paid each time. We don't actually, it kind of becomes like unconscious. And when our unconscious receiving happens, we start to unconsciously what? Spend. And so we start paying stuff that we don't even need because we don't even know where the money's coming from and the value of it. So it's going out as fast as it comes in. So what a budget does, it cuts all that and it actually stops you and sees what goes out and what comes in. People would spit their Kangen water out. They'd spit their coffee out. They'd be like, holy crap. I didn't realize $3,000 was going out to things that are a liability, an expense I can't write off, and I'm getting nothing in return. And half of this stuff is just to satisfy a need or a certain thing in me that I'm still lacking within myself. A lot of people spend money to fill voids.
Yeah.
They spend money to fill voids. So when I realized that, things started to change. Then I took on high ticket. So I was an Magic distributor. I tried network marketing and things like that. So once I had a budget down, I started saving a little bit of money. I bought my first stock. I think I bought Tesla, which was like $30, like $10. Put $2,000 in, made me great wealth. That was my first investment because I had learned about Nikola Tesla at the time. I was waking up, and I didn't even know Elon Musk. I didn't know what like electric cars. No one was driving those. But the name Tesla, because I studied Nikola Tesla, I just threw in some of my money, and then I saw it grew, and that was exciting. I literally saw like my first money tree, and that $1,000 became $1,200. I'm like, I didn't even do anything. It's like when you see that grow when you don't do anything. And now I see it every day. I get experience it every day. But that was that one time where I learned about investing. And so, like you said, started as an employee, became self-employed as a trainer, serial failure entrepreneur, business owner. I owned a Kangen system. So I had my own independent contracting business that I could be a distributor for a medical device company, and then investor. Bought my Tesla stock, and that started growing. So I traveled those quadrants called the cash flow quadrant. And then, then that led me to crypto because that is an investment, right? So as I built wealth and Agic and, 6, 7 figures over a few years, I was starting to invest more into digital assets. And that was a whole new experience. So, right, programs and beliefs, start with a simple budget. This is just what worked for me. Start with a simple budget and own a business part-time or full-time. And then the money you get extra, start investing. That formula right there. That's how I've probably achieved a 7-figure portfolio, and then soon, probably in the next few years, 8, 9 figures I'm preparing for, just from those simple steps that everyone can do, that you don't learn in school, you don't learn in college. That's the formula. Belief systems, right? Budget, set your budget up, start your home-based business, part-time or full-time, whatever it is. You can do an Agic, you can do coaching, whatever it is you want to do. And then that extra capital you make part-time or full-time, go invest it. Those are the 4 stops. If you get those 4 stops right, anybody can start creating wealth for themselves. And then crypto, the last part of this is it was introduced to me by a friend, and he explained it in a way that made sense instantly. He used analogies and metaphors. So it's just the simple thing is, if I'm sending money from one place, like let's say you're in Australia, I'm in California, and I wanted to send you money through a bank, it would take days or weeks. And the money you got, you wouldn't get it all. How does that make sense? Makes no sense. Because what if I were to text Desi or email her? How soon do you get it? Seconds. How do we send letters faster than we send numbers? It's like you getting an email 2 days, 3 days later, and some of the email letters were missing.
Yeah.
It makes no. So when he said
And
that,
it's
I
your
was like,
money. It's like, why is my money missing?
I was like, I didn't know the money moves like I didn't know that, but I know bank fees. I've heard it, but I never connected those dots. And he's like, yeah, man, look to start investing and learning about this technology that will make all of that better. And I was like, that's a no-brainer. That makes total sense. Like if anything comes out that moves money around the world, or anything of value, moves it around the world as fast as a text message that costs nothing, and it's cheap and it's energy efficient and can move trillions of dollars, logically, my light bulb just turned on. I was like, how do I dropped $10,000 that day? I put it in because I saw it crystal clear. And that was it. That was the opening to crypto, because it's all it is technology that makes the current technology we use so much better. It almost makes the old technology irrelevant, like a flip phone. They're just irrelevant now. Nobody has them anymore. That's what our current monetary system is a flip phone, and crypto is the iPhone. And now you're seeing all the layers that are being shared and exposed, and everybody's still trying to work for, the dollar. They're trying to save, they're trying to get ahead, invest in the stock market, which you do whatever you want. It's not financial advice. Yet there's, my gosh, the returns on a few cryptos just in the last 6 months is 300%. Stock market 6%, 8%. And so all these things started happening. And so I made a course, a community. I've helped probably over 100 people make thousands of dollars. I think about 10 or 20 make a couple 100,000, and about 5 or 10 people made a couple million in the last 6 months. So it's been incredible. Yeah, and I share most of all this for free, just on my channels, just passively, openly giving and giving and giving, because I want everybody to win. So it's been a journey with a monetary question. So I'm glad you asked. Wow. And there's your whole blueprint and breakdown for you to come out wealthier. I truly do.
Literally. And I hope people are taking notes as they're listening, because what you just shared is just gold. It's literally enough. I've heard you talk about this before in some of your amazing workshops that I attended, and I mean, this is literally, and if you follow that, and I think one of the key things that really stood out as you were telling me about your journey so far is your willingness to experiment. And that's just try different things. Because one thing that I found really stopped me, and I also see stops a lot of people, is the preconceived ideas of, but crypto, Bitcoin, so many people lost money on it. Oh, but investing into your own business, most businesses fail within the first, 1 year or so. And it's just these preconceived ideas that immediately block us from even thinking about this idea, developing that idea and making that jump is just a huge leap that you have to take. But once you do it, you actually realize, oh, it's not, so many of these ideas, preconceived ideas, are just, yes, they come from people's failures, but there's also so much growth that's happening in so much learning. And that's what people tend to forget. And I think that's really, really important in this side. And you just literally showed how you've tested this, you tried this, you try that. And some of it you failed, some of it worked. But the idea is that you try and you experiment. So I think that's very important to consider.
100%. That's the wisdom that you can never get. Like, no one can give you that. You can't read in a book or even listen to this podcast. You can listen to us all day, get ideas, strategies. Yet if you don't actually go do it, get your hands involved, your brain working, your voice, that's it. Your hands, your voice, and your brain and your heart. It's all you need to build the life of your dreams. And if you don't do it, that's where a lot of people, again, kind of get caught up and don't take that action. And that's the best way you're going to learn, like, the game of life, because it truly is a game. Yeah, I 100% agree. Good point. Very good point.
Yeah, no, completely. I totally agree. So there's several different strands that I want to go down into. So like the Enagic, I definitely want to ask you about that. Before that, I want to stick to kind of the wealth in the money sector. In terms of so one thing because I was thinking a lot about this idea, with the crypto and everything, and it's almost as if, how people say money is essentially energy exchange. You're just exchanging, as you're exchanging money, you're essentially exchanging energy. So I was thinking about it basically by going into the crypto world and this way of being able to transfer from one person to another. It's almost like you're allowing this energy to flow better without the blocks. And the blocks in the old system are basically the banks, the loan sharks and stuff like that. They're basically the ones blocking and constricting this energy flow. And from going into this new paradigm, it's almost like we're removing the constrictions, we're removing the blocks, so this energy can now flow freely without those constrictions. That's kind of how I like to think of it visually in order to understand it. So everything you just explained kind of really makes sense with that.
Yeah, 100%. Think of it this way. Imagine, let's say in the future, and very soon in the future, there is a restoration project that you want to be involved in, or you're looking to do an emergency ocean cleanup. Yet, why do sometimes these things take so long to happen? Months to happen, years to happen. Because of what? Because of funding. Or because of, obviously, you can have contracts, you might have regulations and laws, but a big one is, again, back to the funding, right? And why is it? Because the ability to get money, if you need money to restore the planet, anything that we all, I'm sure, naturally want to see happen, like rejuvenate the veterans, get people off the streets, detox people, help people, fill up our cup first and then be able to pour into the rest of the world. But imagine if money moves still, like you said, so slow, how fast do these actual restorations take? Where now, if money moved as fast as a text, and I could text you $2 billion, and that would be right in your bank. And that bank or that wallet could then send it to get 1,000 tractors that day, that second. And then the other money can go get and hire 20 people that day, that second. You just now created everything happening in a week, where older, outdated methods, it would take weeks to get clearance. Then you would have to get the inspection of where these funds are from. And a point of this too is, like, obviously money laundering happens. There's fraud, there's all that thing. But because of the technology, which most people are still learning with blockchain and distributed ledgers, it's very hard and difficult to get away with that type of fraud because it moves so fast. When things move slower, like if I move my hand as slow as I could across the screen, you could probably grab it. You could probably see like a number on my hand. But what about if I, did that and that and that? And I always say, like, the faster things move, the harder it is to launder it. The harder it is, to do something where you're quietly extracting something from the financial system. So, with all that said, the technology of moving things faster will in turn change the world quicker. And to a point too, and this is like deeper in as you learn the technology and dynamics, I guarantee, I promise, guarantee, and those are big words, that in the future there will be digital assets and technology that the faster it moves will actually give us free energy. So
Wow.
imagine sending $1 billion around the world to a bunch of different nodes and ledgers, right? These are like crypto technology terms. The amount of energy being sent around is actually being harnessed to give us energy to power cities. There's one caveat: Bitcoin, which is a common thing that most people hear, it actually takes energy to mine. So we're losing energy to get this digital, number. Other cryptos, potentially, it's not fully discussed or disclosed yet, but the way some things I've learned and seen is that when that moves faster, it's going to donate energy. And that's like the biggest parable of life, where your health is either being stolen from you, right? Taken from you, electron don't. So if Mother Earth is being stolen from to power Bitcoin, that's like, drinking water with a positive charge. It's going to steal energy from you to make it negatively charged. It's all about donating and receiving. We call it electron donor, electron receiver. So crypto, the right kind of crypto, donates electricity to us. The wrong kind takes electricity from us. Does that make sense? It's
Yeah,
the same way the
totally.
human body works is literally how crypto and the internet and Wi-Fi all work. That's
Hmm.
another big truth, like, that most people aren't too familiar with. So, yeah, the faster things move, the better, and that's going to be our financial system. It's going to be incredible. Yeah, truly
Wow.
amazing.
Wow, that sounds pretty, yeah, utopic. And how, if for anyone who has no idea about crypto and the different types of crypto, what would you say? What would you classify as bad crypto and good crypto? What's the difference?
Great. It's a great question, because there are thousands. I think 30,000 digital assets now. 30,000. I think in the first few years of a mass adoption, there was like 10,000. So you and I can go make 20 crypto tokens right now if we wanted to, on any ledger, like any ledger that holds ways and apps that can do that. So to answer the question, though, I would say, one, there's one term that I really, that started this whole it's called ISO. So International Standard of Operation. I think that's what it stands for. ISO 20022 messaging. So that protocol is like a standard of the way banks and institutions are going to talk to each other. So if you do research and look up what digital assets are aligned with that protocol, that would be a legit digital asset to invest in. There's other things like meme coins that I'm sure people you've heard of. They have rug pull, but like, pump and dumps, rug pulls. It's like gambling. There's gambling tokens, which is thousands of these other ones. And then there's the big ones, right? Bitcoin and Ethereum. I don't personally own those, just for investment purposes, and also just some other things that I'm just not a fan of. I know they have their perks. I know they have their benefits and uses. So those are always solid, an option for people. I'm not telling you what to do. I don't own any of them. I don't personally own Bitcoin or Ethereum. So I stay with XRP, XLM, XDC, Algorand, HBAR, Stronghold, Velo, like these tokens that are proven, that have partnerships, that are, they call it the word utility. And then everything else, you just have to do your research. That's why it's so difficult. So that's why I made a course, just throw it out there, comeoutwealthier.com. And I break all of that down. I did it on the workshops that I had for free that I did, which was great. We had hundreds of people on those. And then I've have about a couple hundred people in the work or the community as far as like the course. And it's just for basics. It's learning the basics. There's a glossary, there's videos, wallets, a little money timeline that I put together, which is very eye-opening. But yeah, I think those are some of the best ways. The last thing people can do is go to a website called coinmarketcap.com, and you can just search. There's like different filters. So just look at the digital assets that have white paper, that maybe have a website, that have contracts that are legit, called utility, like they have use cases. Some cryptos don't. They're just numbers on screens with no features or any technology that, you can do contracts on, or you can tokenize. I know all these different words. It's like, what are all these words? You learn that it's a new language. We're learning a new language.
Totally, you definitely.
CoinMarketCap's another good one too. So yeah, those are a few places to start. ISO 20022, comeoutwealthier.com, CoinMarketCap, and just literally just focusing and researching. It just takes time. It's going to take you some time to really get the hang of it. It's not easy just to throw $10,000 at a coin or a token. There are some solid ones you can, then that's kind of what I started doing. But for a lot of people, do your homework. Yeah, always do your research. Always check your own sources, and use what I share and send. And I say this everything I teach, and then go research it yourself. But those are a few options people can definitely look to get started, to know the difference between a good and bad asset. It's a great question. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for that. And one thing that I really I love when you, for example, when you did the workshop, I think it was last November, where you kind of went all the way back and zoomed out, because you say kind of zoom out to see the big picture, is to really trace this, trace the history of the whole monetary system. I think that's so important, just in terms of us understanding how it started, why, the banking system basically took over, and the financial reserve basically set all the rules in place. And now it's kind of that, it's just being able to see that this isn't really working for us, right? That's the main point. It's like, for us regular people who are not in the part of this banking system, it's really important to see how the system is literally rigged against us. And I think the way in which you put it, which I will add the link if that's okay, to your workshop, which I think you can see online, it was just so amazing to see that, because it really gives you the big perspective, and like, wow, okay, this really, we're following in a system that's broken. Essentially, it's just not working for us. So in terms of before, the dollar used to be backed by gold. Now it's not anymore, but Trump is obviously kind of going into that again and trying to back the dollar by gold. So is that something that could be related to the crypto? And is that something that we could look out for in terms of good crypto to invest in?
Yes, good question as well. So the gold standard, we were taken off 1971 when Nixon did that. And we've had multiple things called the Bretton Woods. And again, I share all this in my course. I love that you brought it up, because it is important to know history, true history, right? The truth, the real part of history that a lot of us have never been taught or told. And if we have, in little pieces, but never in a way where I like to just weave it all together. It's like, oh my gosh, why have we not been told this? We've been told, bites and pieces of the dish, not given the full, experience and full platter. Mm-hmm. So with the gold standard, we are going back to gold. I think people need to know, that are listening to this, that, and you can research this yourself, is the majority of central banks and governments and banks around the world are accumulating gold at record rates beyond any time, since gold has been an asset. So people are stockpiling it. There is going to be a change. There will be, in my opinion, I say 99.9%, not 100. I don't call the shots. Anything can happen. Will be a monetary reset. So there'll be a reevaluation of all global currency, where certain, you go to certain countries, $1 is 1,000 pesos or 1,000 yen. Everything should be 1-to-1. Everything should be 1-to-1, and they call it a level playing field. Trump's said it many, many times in his speeches, if you pay attention. Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple, BlackRock, even though we don't like a lot of these companies and these corporations, there's only so much we can do as everyday people. They've expressed level playing fields and tokenization and all these things. But the question is, if we go back to a gold standard, or at least gold backing our new, what I believe is going to be a treasury dollar, a treasury note that is backed by gold. We have all the gold. Trump got it all. If you want to go down that wormhole, you got it all from the Vatican that was taken from us. Our gold has been stolen and kept hidden from the world, and that allows central banks then to go and print currencies. So we got it back from the Vatican. There's military document reports of cargo planes coming back and forth over and over for many, many, many weeks,
Oh, wow.
bringing 600,000 tons of, I don't know how much of gold. I think there was 250 cargo planes.
From the
Brought it back here. Yes, underneath the Vatican. There's about 50 to 100 miles or more of tunnels under the Vatican
oh yeah.
where all the truth is and all the gold is. They took all the gold. And so, when Trump did his world tour, a lot of people don't know that these places, these corporations, they're not places. They're not actually like the Buckingham Palace. London is not part of the UK. It's like DC is not part of the US, and the Vatican is its own country in Italy. These are corporations. These aren't even states or countries or nations. They're businesses. That's all it is. And so the Vatican and the royal family have always been working together with an alliance. And you go tie it back to what's happening in Israel, what's happening into Ukraine without going deeper. It's not the good people there. There's these shadow governments and deep state. There's this evil that like a cancer that's around the world that we're looking to eradicate, or at least reduce and diminish and liberate this planet. That's the big mission that humanity is on at this moment. And you're seeing it happen in a big way. That's going to happen is through the change of the monetary system. So we got all the gold back. There was a lot of military orders, executive orders, and all sorts of legislation. But here's the thing, last part of this, right? If we have the gold, countries are hoarding the gold. The BRICS alliance, a new nation that's dethroning, getting away from the petrodollar. I can't send you 12 gold bars if I want to buy a house. I'm not carrying that in my bag, right? So there's this physical, tangible asset that we need, a tier one asset, according to Basel III, that the Bank of International Settlement already recognized, that gold is going to be, in order to have dollars or the balance sheet, you got to have gold in your reserves. But how do we move gold? How do we move the value of something that is so heavy and so dense and so thick that you would have to share and send around the world? And that's where crypto comes in. So the technology of crypto is going to take gold that's in vaults, that's recorded and documented on an account balance sheet, not underneath a tunnel. And now we just print this piece of paper and no one knows where it's going. It's what Doge is exposing when people wake up to it. And then we're going to take that physical gold and then tokenize it, and then it'll represent itself on a blockchain as a digital asset.
Wow. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's all it is. You have
Thank
something
you.
physical now turns into digital. It's alchemy. Like
Yeah.
you said,
Mhm.
like water turns into gas,
Just
steam.
making it.
You just change the alchemical formula. That's all we do. That's how this world is built. You take sand, you take water and something else, you alchemize it, you have concrete.
Mhm.
Everything is alchemy.
Yeah.
So why not what's the alchemy of gold and what's the alchemy of our financial system with physical and digital? Because people don't like crypto because of the digital world, right? The mark of the beast, social, the credit score and all that. True, that was a plan. That was a timeline that they wanted us to go down if evil still controlled this timeline. They don't anymore. They're completely done. It's all military, all that stuff is done. So now the timeline is a good digital technology, right? That won't have all these fears that people have, because you'll have that crowd that just want physical stuff. And then you'll have people that are like, well, gold is great, it's cool, but it's boring, it sits and it can't move it. So how do we move it? They want to take the physical and digitize it. So you have kind of both perspectives. My vision, though, is together.
Yeah.
Have the physical and the digital instead of the digital prison or no internet. Can you imagine no internet, no smartphone, no online banking? Our world would be going backwards. Some people think it'd be better, but our society has evolved so much that I feel like it would cause more detrimental effects if you literally got rid of the internet today. You got rid of social media today, everything. You got rid of online banking today. You got rid of technology today. It sounds incredible and probably would get backlash for it if I share this with many, many people. Like, oh, back in nature, doing nothing. There's benefit for that. 8 billion people, though, just aren't going to do it. And they'll go crazy. There will be people lose. You just have to keep evolving. And as you evolve, the way I would see it, and the way it's looking is you have to evolve the things to just make that better with it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's kind of just like a side tangent a little bit. But that's the importance of gold, right? Gold and
Mm.
crypto, and how both of them are going to be used in the new financial system. So without financial advice, own both. Own precious metals and own digital assets. That's
There
all
you go.
those are my investments. I don't touch much stocks or land, real estate right now. I'm sure they're great options, but physical assets and then digital assets, best of both, of what the new financial system is. That's a good way, good perspective to have, and a good place to look if I were you.
Yeah, definitely. Wow, that's yeah, I feel like it's such a good way to bridge the old world and the new world and kind of the best of both, like you just said. So, and as you just mentioned, yeah, I mean, I'm living in Spain and we had last month a complete blackout for like a day or two where there was no electricity and everything stopped. People couldn't even, buy anything because no one has cash. So it's wow, it was crazy and not being able to use anything pretty much. But people, it was only a day and people took it quite well, at least in Spain. People were just dancing on the street, singing. But I thought, gosh, if this was actually for a week, it would have been a much different picture.
That's what I said. Like, that's amazing. Like, to get off the internet, like you said, it's beautiful. Yet, okay, day after day after day for weeks and weeks, does the dancing keep happening? And I just don't, I just don't know. But to make point clear, that's amazing. Yeah, I'm sure it was a sight to see. Because I remember when COVID happened, we didn't lose the internet, but everything stopped. But look how many people woke up and how many people slowed down, and there are blessings in that too. But I remember seeing that. Yeah, so it was for what, 2 days, 3 days?
Yeah, it was one day in Spain and I think 2 days in other parts of like.
You just hung out the house in the dark and just like what was going on? Did you walk around, or was it?
Well, I was still at work, so we literally just everything, the electricity went out. It was still daylight, so it was fine with us. It's just we couldn't do any work, so we eventually went home, and it was still light. Yeah, by the time I got home, I think it's probably around 8 o'clock. It was starting to get dark, and then around 9, the electricity actually came back on. For my part, anyway. I know there were other parts of Spain where it was still they probably for 2 days they didn't have electricity, but for me it was fine. I had candles, so in case. Yeah, but I didn't have food or anything like that. I was supposed to do my shopping then, and I was like, oh shit, if this lasts for a week or something, I'm dead.
Oh my gosh, that's wild.
Yeah.
Well, what an experience just in one day. See how life can change in one day.
Yeah,
Takes
just
these things for granted, man.
really, yeah, and it did make me think, okay, I probably need to have cash just in case that happens again, or food. Yeah,
That's 100%. That's the physical, the cash, even
yeah,
though, it's going to change, the cash and precious metals for those emergencies. It's always definitely a good reminder for sure.
yes, definitely. Wow, I love that. But yeah, I really love this concept of money is energy and just how everything is kind of mirroring that right now. So that's really interesting. Yeah. Okay, amazing. Well, the next part of your business, well, I kind of want to go back to the business side more and kind of just for anyone thinking about developing their own business and starting this entrepreneurial journey. I'm actually working on my own affiliate business right now, which is kind of very close to relates to what you guys do with Kangen, Wharton, and Agate. Um, there's so many things in my head that are constantly telling me, no, stop, stop, just go back to your 9 to 5. And it's just these old school, programs and mentality that's literally like, yeah, it's so easy to give up. It's the easiest thing. It's like, okay, no, let's just take the safest route. But I know ultimately it's not what my soul what will make my soul fulfilled in a way. And also so many people are feeling like this. I feel like a lot of people are feeling like I want to make an impact in the world. I want to have a positive contribution, and it's like unless you're working in an amazing 9 to 5 job that is actually doing that for the world, I don't think it's very fulfilling to have just like a regular office job that you hate and you just hate the Mondays and going back to the office. So for you, what was the biggest mindset shift that you had to make yourself in order to go from this, just regular worker to now owning your own 7, 8 figure business? What's been the biggest kind of shift that you had to make for
Yeah,
that?
I think you kind of said it already, was just doing and having a 9 to 5 job, sitting at the desk, wearing the slacks and the dress shirt, and going down to lunch and clocking in and clocking out and asking for permission for vacation. When I look back at it, For 10 months, after 10 months, I just couldn't do it anymore. Like I literally said, I cannot sustain this. And I just for a moment, I remember I could go back to this moment too. I was just like, man. And I look over and there, a guy's next to me. He's been there for 22 years, like on his LinkedIn, 22 years in the same seat. And I'm just like, it just hit me. I was like, there's no way. This is impossible. Like, no, like, no. And it's like in my mind, I was running. I was running as far as I can away from that type of reality for myself.
Yeah.
And I think just that experience alone, like, I would rather be scounging for pennies anyway. Like, not saying I'm homeless, but I would like before I would try to figure out a business or something before I would ever go back to going to that quadrant of the employee. And it's not to say, and you and I would both agree, it's not to say that if there's anything wrong with it or bad, but and at the end of the day, if you're drained from it, if it's exhausting, if you haven't got a 8% pay increase in the last couple of years, which very few people get unless you're a top, person in the company, you're losing money. Like it's from inflation. It's just there's so many levels and variables, and it's difficult because of how deep that program goes and how the voice, safety, paycheck, benefits, insurance. It's tempting. It's like, oh, don't leave.
Very.
Stay with if you let yourself look at it from that other perspective, it's like, how is this a job or what is it something else? Like what is a job? And unless, like you said, paying good and contributing to big changes in the world, fantastic. You're found a gold mine. But a lot of people I talk to, it's I hate the Mondays or it's whatever, pays the bills. Yeah, I'm just doing it to do it. And I'm not sure what's next and everything's good and whatever, comfort zone. And I respect that people choose. But that was probably just experiencing was the reason and the feeling that I had. And even if I was failing all these other entrepreneurial things, I would rather take the failure and not making money a few months, even though I had very little in my bank account and just getting by for a little bit, right? In those in between years before I learned about investing and doing Enagic and all these other things is, you know, just hold on for your dear life or just you'll figure it out because I just cannot go back to that. I just
Mm.
cannot go back to it. So yeah, today what I'm doing now is just truly incredible. Yeah, I'm sitting in my desk chair now, yet I can go somewhere else the next hour. I can go for a walk. I do whatever I want. It's the craziest thing. I joke around. I have no job. I have no kids. I have no family. I don't have a wife. I don't have dogs. I don't have a resume. I don't have a salary. I don't have benefits. Right? I like on paper, I'm a failure. And yet here I am, happy, healthy, set for life financially, doing what I want, when I want, with who I want, with never the fear, worry, or doubt ever really creeping in anymore. And it does at times. I'm not perfect, yet wake up when I want. Every hour of the day is up to me. And that's liberating and also can be scary for people too. I have so much time on my hand. Everyone wants time freedom until you have it. And you're like, what do I do with it? What do I do now? Everyone wants monetary freedom and you have it. And you're like, okay, do I spend this all? Like, what do I do now? So there's just so many levels, right? So many layers to that process, but it shows you a lot and it's made me a better person. That's probably the biggest thing for sure. Definitely came out better, made me a better person for sure.
Mm. Oh wow, I love that. No, totally what you were saying about having so much time on your hands and you because we're so used to, going to work, coming back home or going to school and we have the routine, right? So it's like our mind is so used to having that routine that when you don't have it, it's like something's wrong. Oh my gosh, like I need to be in a rush for work or I need to be in a rush for my class or something. Something feels so wrong, but at the same time, this is the shift that needs to happen, right? You need to just sit in that and yeah, just be present with it. Yeah, completely. Wow. So going from that, you've done going back full circle to the Enagic Water into the health journey that you first started off with. Tell me a little bit about that because this is kind of one of your main businesses in terms of the affiliate business. How did that start for you? Or what is it about?
Yeah, so back in 2015, that was kind of my precursor to my spiritual awakening. I played in Mexico, pro athlete, played basketball. Last month I was there, I got really sick. So I had a lot of stomach pain, debilitating. I thought it was food poisoning, but it lasts for days. I couldn't get out of bed. I had acid reflux. I was taking a different over-the-counter thing for all my issues. I started getting eczema, I guess, was what I found out. And they gave me a steroid cream. I had allergies, bad allergies. Tons of stress, just mental stress from being a pro athlete and the expectations and demands on my body and my mind. It was a lot, great experience, but I was in bad shape. So I came back. A friend of mine, Jilly, she had told me that. Well, I went to the doctor, right? Medications for life and all that. Can't eat this, can't eat that. Oh, it's something you got to live with. And I was 25, 24. I was like, uh, okay. And just part of me knew is like, come on, like I got to take these till I'm dead. Like, yeah, for the rest of your life. Like they prescribe people that, like for ulcerative colitis. Like I'm like, what? And so it just didn't sit well. And then my friend Jilly, she at the time she told me, "Hey, there's this kind of type of water that you may want to try." I'm like, at first, like that's the stupid. Like I thought I kind of called her out. I was like, "Why are you doing this to me? You know I'm in pain. Like, why are you joking with me?" She's like, "No, I'm serious. It's different." I said, "How?" She's like, "It's alkaline." I'm like, "What's alkaline water?" No one didn't exist. This was 2016. There was no alkaline bottles in stores. No one knew about alkaline water. You just knew alkaline batteries, battery acid, alkaline battery, acidic battery. So I was like, no, I'm good. And I just kept living in pain. And she finally said, just kept saying, every time I would complain to her, right? I was in my self sabotage era. I'm in pain. I'm a mess. Help me, help me. Here's try some water. I'm like, no, no, help me though. I'm in pain. It's like, just drink this water. It may help. Because her experience, she had ovarian cysts that were cancerous. Four of them. She changed the water she drank, and a few months later went back for a laparoscopy, and they're all gone. And that was her awakening. And the doctors called her crazy and told her to get out, and thought she was like playing a joke on him. Like we've never seen, like no one has ever gotten rid of these types of ovarian cancerous cysts in a month without, but they couldn't fathom like a miracle happened basically. So
Mm-hmm.
they outcasted her, and that's when she woke up to the pharmaceutical industry.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, try this. And I was like, fine, I'll drink it. And that was it. And I started drinking it, cleansing, detoxing. My gosh, it was a whole experience. Every day went by, I drank this water. I felt better and better. Started getting away from needing I threw out all my over the counter meds that I literally would hoard in a big box and like a candy box. It was insane. I like took pride in having all these different Pepto Bismol, Tums, and Zantac, and ibuprofen and Tylenol. Threw all that
Wow.
out. Started needing less pre-workout. I was working out so hard and I wouldn't get sore. I still was partying and having fun in my 20s. No hangover. Up at 5 a.m., no hangover. And if I saw what I drank back then in those times, you would think I'd be alive the next day. Like, what are you doing, man? But I woke up no hangover. I was waking up at 5, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, no caffeine, nothing. I was like, what is happening?
That's
I'm
crazy.
literally feeling like I'm living on a cloud, charged up. And then I was like, and I looked at my garage and I had like 20 empty gallons. And I'm like, and that humbling moment, like, it's the only thing I'm doing differently is drinking that. And then I hit up Jilly. I'm like, what is this? And that was it. And I have not stopped learning about it since. And I've learned 6, 7 years. I could tell you everything and anything about the water, just every type, and there's so much misinformation now. And then, yeah, it helped me and I started learning about it. And then I started slowly sharing it. And then, long story short, now we've helped 20,000 people around the world get these products. We're in over 20 countries. It started with two of us, me and Jilly, and a couple others, and now we're at 20,000. And our goal is to reach a couple 100,000 and millions in the next 5 to
Wow.
10 years to
That's
get Kangen water to humanity. Um, every home that has Kangen water will actually make the water that leaves their home back into the ecosystem of water, like the city or wherever you are. It'll actually make the water better and cleaner. So if everyone had one in their home, you could actually clean the whole world in a few days.
wow.
People don't
That's
realize that. It's one of the most ultimate tools that if every home had one, like a refrigerator or a microwave, as many do, or a stove or a Keurig, whatever. Every home just added a Kangen as part of the norm for a kitchen, you would have a completely different planet in, I would say, in a month. Everything would change. The water quality, the health, the pesticide use and consumption and removal, the chemical cleaning, like all that stuff would change completely. Then that's the mission we're on, and the rate we're going, and with technology and social media and investing back into it, we'll get to 1 million. Yeah, we'll get to 1 million. They've only served 3 million in 50 years.
only 3 million.
Only
Wow.
3 million. That's small out of 8 billion people that drink water.
Wow.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And right
Mm.
now it's like 10 to 20,000 Kangen water systems are being purchased around the world per month.
Wow.
and these aren't, little filters. These are medical device equipment. They're an investment. We get them cheap. But instead of 20 grand, you can get them 3 to 6K, finance it if you want, and then you're going to have this thing for decades. It pays for itself. It's like down to 70 cents a day over 20 years, and it does
Wow.
everything for you. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're very passionate about it. It's changed my life, and the stories that we have seen and heard, if I were to just start reading them off or sharing the videos or the texts we get, it's God's work we're doing. We're doing more things for people than hospitals, doctors, and you know, even different like food choices, supplements. People try a bunch of things, they just don't change their water. It's the foundation of everything, and yeah, it's very humbling just to know that we're doing something pretty powerful and then get paid for it, which allows me to live the life of my dreams. It's like it's a win-win that, and that's the series that we're going to be doing is called Hydrated Entrepreneurship, is how to create win-wins for everybody. There is no more loss. Like living in a space and a mindset where everything is a win. There is no loss. It's not like I have to lose something for Desi to gain something. We're teaching that everything is overflowing and people are seeing it. And that's what people are getting a part of what we're doing.
Oh, I love this. I love this whole concept of win-win, and this is. I feel like this is totally the way of the future. It's no longer I take more and you take less, or I screw you over so that I can have my way. Like, no, I have something amazing and you also have something amazing, and that's kind of the whole thing behind the affiliate world as well, which is something that I know you're talking about a lot. Recently, and it's something that it's kind of the idea behind which I'm starting now my own affiliate business, which is it just makes sense. You promote the things you already love to people that you know or people that you don't know, and it just makes sense so that you can help them and they can help other people. I think it's the best business model, honestly, and I feel like this is the way of the future in terms of the best future businesses. This is one that's definitely gonna change a lot of things, and I think a lot more people are becoming aware of it now. Yeah.
I agree. People to people, human based marketing. That's what we call it. Human based, actual human to human, not AI, not robots, not middlemen, not third parties, me to you to me. And then the third piece of it would be the company product or service that we're sharing with each other. So, yes, exactly. I agree. I agree.
Wow. And one thing I really love about Enagic is that they haven't actually paid for they're not paying for any advertising, right? The company, I know it's a family-owned business in Japan, and that's insane. I mean, I've never heard of a business that has never advertised themselves and only does it through basically affiliate marketing. Yeah.
Absolute genius. Japanese, they know are very smart. Most people don't know that the average company in Japan is over 200 years old. The average company here in America, I'll let people look up that answer. And why do they do it so well? Best manufacturing, some of the best technology, smartest people, living the longest. There's so many things that go into it, and their marketing plan, like you said, is literally genius. Because here, for example, right, what do you have to do? You got to pay to play, right? So you have to pay some money out and hope that people buy. Advertising, commercials, how much money Apple or Nike or these companies spend, right? To get you to
Yeah.
go, ooh, I need a pair of shoes. But me, I don't buy Nikes much anymore. They can give me all the marketing they want, throw $1 million at me, but I'm not going to buy. How good is that return? You know? So that's fantastic. Amazing that you talked about this because not enough people do. Is Enagic they're $1 billion company, billion. They make so much money that they give so much. They do contests monthly, and top prizes are 25K, 20K, 15K, 10K. You can just accidentally have a great month and get like a $4,000 bonus. They all, because they know that the growth of a company is built by the people, not the product, not the boss, not that this is the Japanese culture. It's everyone is included. And so to break down what you said, instead of them saying they have a marketing budget, like we're going to pay employees 150 million a year, 20 million advertising, ads and first of all, they can't because our government, the FDA and big pharma and the FT, they didn't actually allow Enagic into the US for many years
Oh,
because
really?
they knew what the product would do to the whole system.
Oh,
This
wow.
is this people don't realize this product is a threat to the whole system of the earth. Think about it. Monopolize bottled water, which is a behemoth. Big pharma If people are getting healthy, detoxing, we got balloons, right? There you go. People are getting healthy and detoxing, big pharma, what happens to their business? Talking about the very things that Kangen water exposes. Like,
Exactly.
whatever, maybe they're listening. They can't stop what's coming. So yeah, the big ag, the pesticides, consumption, and then chemicals. So it's literally the big water bottles, plastic, microplastics, pharmaceuticals, pesticides, insecticides, and then chemicals and all the stuff in beauty and cleaning products. Kangen water literally gets rid of all that. That is an ultimate threat. If every home had one, the whole economy would completely change or crash because all these companies would go bankrupt. That's how close. That's the vision. Like that, you want to change the world, get a Kangen machine and help everyone else get one. That's probably one of the best ways because you'll reduce the plastic, right? Blueprint. You'll reduce the demand for chemicals. You're not buying that junk anymore. You'll get healthier, so you won't need to depend on pharmaceutical companies and the healthcare industry. Your insurance will probably go down because you're healthier. You'll have less doctor visits. You're going to save more. It just keeps going and going and going and going and going. And that's what's so incredible. So back to what you were saying, they don't pay for marketing, right? They can't. There's no marketing that can be done because they don't want it to happen. So Genius Way, let's go $0. And unless our distributors, like the people that drink the water, share it, use it, tell people about it, do the demos, unless they do that and sell one, then we will pay them. That's it. So anytime that they are literally paying someone, that is an after energy exchange of a life changed and helped. There's no money that goes out unless money comes in first. It's genius.
Yeah.
Imagine companies here where you make money first and then you can start paying out, but you have to build it first, right? And that's why it's been around for 50 years. So it's a genius model. And that's fantastic that you brought up and even mentioned it because some people don't know that, some people don't realize how that works. And that's why they're so successful and not going anywhere. All these other ionizer companies in the US, they don't have this option. They don't have this program. They don't have a manufacturing facility. It's just be very, very careful. People doing their research. It's hard to say because usually you think a good market has competition, right? Healthy competition. There's literally a Nagic and their own standard, and then there's like second tier, kind of like there's like the Berkey or the reverse osmosis, and then you have like a Brita. It's like they're both filters, but they're in different standards, completely different standards. But that's how they operate. It's literally genius. It's a successful business model that'll be around for hundreds and hundreds of more years, and rightfully so. Rightfully so. So we're behind it. We're with them.
And it just makes you think about the power of community as well, right? Because essentially what they've created is worldwide community, and that's more powerful than any ads. And what you mentioned before, like big companies, they spend so much money. And part of my work is with Google Ads as well, so I know how much gets pumped into this just for people to see it as a 3-second or 5-second ad, on YouTube or something. But you just think, gosh, this is nothing compared to the power of actual person-to-person affiliates, or just, like basically what Jilly has said to you, like this really works, this water really works, and you tried it and you saw it for yourself. So that's unlike anything else any other ad can do. And that's such a powerful model. And I really feel like for people who are wanting to get into business now, maybe this is probably one of the best business models, right? Kind of affiliate marketing or affiliate businesses. That's such a good model to get into because I really feel like that's the way of the future. Yeah, just win-win.
100%. Well, you think about a typical business that is required to start. You got to get a loan, go to the bank. A lot of people associate starting a business with like a mom and pop shop, old school brick and mortar. I got to do it. I got to box myself. I got to make the product, or you know what I mean? With an Nagic, and you said it perfectly too, it's like they do all that. It's the craziest thing. Like you could start your own business and own 0% of equity in the company. Now, some people will say, oh, that's not good. You want equity. No, you have a level playing field to make as much money as you want, regardless of equity or not, right? Because it's a private company. So it's literally gotten to a point for people to realize that I can start something part-time. I don't have to worry about inventory, accounting, customer service, shipping, product questions, chats, sending out checks. All I have to do is tell people that this is out there, and you're a business owner. And some people say, oh, that's too good to be true, or no, that's a scam, or that's cheap. It's like, no, it's just different than your program. That's different than your belief system. That's all it is. People say project or assume or they'll attack. It's just two programs kind of butting heads with each other. That's all it is. So I'm like, no, you just know that trading time for money is the way to make money. I'm building systems and working my time and leveraging my time to work and build with other people so we all win and generate wealth together. It's way different animal, way different animal. So it's yeah, it's completely a genius model, and they do a good job of just maintaining it and giving people that option. And that's how you start a business. Everyone should be a business owner, just for taxes here in America too. Like the tax code is literally meant for business owners, and not a mom and pop shop is the only thing that qualifies. You can be an independent contractor of your own home-based business through direct sales or network marketing and write thousands of dollars off. Not financial advice. See it with the CPA. Check your financial advisor. Not financial advice, educational. But look it up. It's Google. You Google it. It's literally public info. It's all out in the open. It's crazy. People complain about the taxes, and rightfully so. It is, theft. It is not constitutional here and in anywhere really. Yet when you tell them, all right, you're upset that you're paying all these taxes, let's get you some write-offs. Let's start your home-based business. Get you a Congo machine. No, it's too expensive. Or no, I don't. I got to think about it. I'm like, but it's crazy. It's just that just shows the belief system and the programming kind of having those gaps. And that's what I hear. That's what I want to fill for people, make sure they know that's out there. But it's a great opportunity. That's for sure. Like you said.
Wow. I love that. And for anyone listening who might want to know more about this or learn more about this, where can they get started? Where would be the best place with you?
Well, I mean, first, if you ever got involved, right? If you go to you, definitely you and Jilly talk with that. And then to learn, for me, I have a funnel, comeoutwinning.com, and it just has videos and information. You learn everything there, comeoutwinning.com. And then Come Out Winning on Instagram is I've been sharing more of my content about like coaching. I'm a coach. I'm a mentor. I teach. I've built many six-figure leaders and earners and helped a ton of people with crypto and social media and branding. But what's cool is, people say, what do I do? And I say, I coach people for free, because I do. I literally coach my team every day. They get to ask me anything, anytime, where an hour with me is like $1,000 right now, just because that's what I'm bringing in. That's what I'm doing. And yeah, I say, just coach you for free. You just have to get a Kangen system, start a business, and I'll coach you. You got me access to me, my Telegram chat. You got my phone number. You can call me up, like anything, and people are really resonating with that, because it's like you said, it's a win-win. It's just a win-win for everybody. But comeoutwinning.com and Come Out Winning on Instagram are two places you can go.
Okay, amazing. And I'll post the links below in the description as well. Yeah, I think that's so important as well. And also to have someone, because I've been thinking a lot about that, and I've been trying to get into the business mindset, because I've realized it's a very different mindset. You really need to be around those type of people who are already in the business world, or who know how to make a business work, because it is very different from a 9 to 5. You need a completely different type of skill set to be able to use for your own business. And I feel like having a coach and having like a community there to coach you through that, and to just give you tips and improvements and just support is so important. Like I can't even stress. I mean, I did it myself when I was starting the podcast. I joined the podcasting community. I paid for an online course, which is worth every penny, because it was the support that really gets you to that next level. It's the information, but also the support, and having someone who's done it and already knows how to do it, and basically helps you along the way. So I couldn't recommend that enough. And I'm actually joining your June hydrated entrepreneurship. Yeah, with there you go. Yeah, with Jilly. Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to that, because I'm definitely feeling like, okay, it's time for me to level up. So yeah.
Yeah, that'll be really good for, I think, 4 weeks. We're going to do it on every Monday. So reach out to me, or we'll get you the info to share for that. And it's open to everybody. And just Hydrate Entrepreneurship, just the win-win overflowing lens about business, money, branding, social media, teamwork, networking, network marketing, affiliate marketing, and all that. So yeah, that's great. I'm glad you popped on for that. Good. Smart. Very smart.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Well, I know that we're almost running out of time now. I'd just like to finish every podcast with a few questions, which is called 30,000 feet questions. So it's like the ability to zoom out and look at your life from kind of a bigger picture. The first one is, if this was a 5-year chapter in your life, what would the name of this chapter be?
The last 5 years?
Yeah,
The last 5 years?
within 5 years, whichever you prefer.
Uh, well, I got to say two chapters. Well, two names. I'd say the death and rebirth of Cobb, and then also the initiation from, what is it, boy to man. Those would
Amazing.
be the two titles. I'd
Yeah.
say the death and rebirth of Cobb. Last 5 years for sure, since 2020. Absolutely.
Mm, I love that.
Mhm.
And what if we were to meet this time next year? What will you be celebrating?
That's a good question. A lot of things. Maybe top 10 podcasts in the world, net worth of 9 or 10 figures, a family, possibly, maybe. Uh, Best shape of my life. And I would say a following of 1 million people. It's a
Amazing.
good
I
start.
totally believe
I
that.
totally believe it too.
Yeah, amazing. And last one, how would you like to be known in the world? What kind of a mark would you want to leave in the world?
Hmm, great question. These are really good. Man, um, I think I'd just be want to be known as the guy that would always do kind things for people, whether they see it or not. Like, that sometimes those stories come like all of a sudden, when I leave this earth and people are like, man, I never shared this, but one time when I was this years old, I didn't have money and Chris just gave me money. He didn't ask for anything else and changed my, like those kind of stories. I want to have as many of those stories as possible. That's what just something my dad imprinted in me, is just to do the right thing, even when people are looking or not, and not to show it off or brag, but just to be humble and grateful. So I'd want to be known to, by the time I leave this world, that millions of people, I don't know how, that's a big number. I don't know how they'll all say some unique experience they had with me or about me that they'll always remember. And then that means I really made an impact, because not everyone's going to remember your car, your house, or your following, or your fancy logo, or all the things that we think are great. They'll remember how you treated them and also how you made them feel, in a loving, empowering way. And that's a good sign off for me.
I love that. That's such a good way to end. Oh, thank you so much, Chris, for your time. Yeah, this was so much value. And I really hope that people, if they resonate with you, I'll leave all the links. So comeoutwinning.com, come out better. People can find you in all of these names on Instagram, on your website, on social media. Yeah, and also the podcast that you have, which are honestly so informative. I would definitely recommend for people to listen to them. So yeah,
Absolutely. Comeouthydrated.com also has a free ebook and a masterclass all about the body, health, Kangen water, hydration, mineral, all the things. So comeouthydrated.com is a free ebook for everybody too, if you want to dabble into that. But thank you. This was
amazing.
fantastic. I really love it. I love those questions. Great questions to end it. Really, really bridging the realm. That sums it up right there.